station right here.
Email address, phone number.
Where?
What can I do it for?
Are you recording?
Yes, I am.
What are you recording? The table?
Yes.
Okay.
Watching that picture time.
Okay.
And this is the table.
Yeah, boring part of your video. Recording the table.
You don't record
Right.
this dancing. Like she's not dancing no more. She's dancing on the pole, not in the bad way.
What? Okay, here you go.
This is the table where you get the raffle ticket. Sign up and get a raffle
Look at the baby. Have it. Go get the baby, Dan.
If you look back, go.
It is working. I had
King Shop about to get on the mic.
Okay, alright. Welcome, y'all. How y'all doing? How's everybody doing? This is another new Black World Order TV production.
Right.
Chopper. Hey, thanks for coming out to the 3rd annual Black Unity Day. And we are in 3 cities now. We're in Richmond, Martinsburg, West Virginia, and Harlem, New York. Right? This is where we kicked off Black Unity Day in the 100 Men and Women Unite movement. We want 100 people out of this crowd to sign up and commit themselves to changing and making Richmond a better place to live, love, and laugh and work. If you're tired of the killings, it starts today. So I'm going to pass the microphone. We got some powerful information coming out here today. And if you would just grab your plates and sit down and get ready, because you can't stop the killings without solutions. And we got some solutions today for you. All right? So let's get it. Chopper.
All right, peace family. We're the Spiritual United African Nation, your host for the evening. This is our leader, Dr. Neil Lynn Jackson. My name is Brother J.D. Hayes, brother to be in the conscious community. Give a black hand for yourself, all the positive people in this area tonight. Okay, listen, we got powerful people that's gonna come speak to the folks and help get our conditions straight and get on the right path. And coming to this microphone is a dynamic brother that's been doing work in this community for years and years and years. He's my brother. He shows me nothing but love and a lot of education. He has a lot of powerful information for the brothers and sisters. So if you could, get your food, enjoy, and lend the ear to my brother, Deron Chavis. Y'all put your hands together.
Before Brother Chavis come up, brothers and sisters, we want to let you know they're giving free haircuts today.
Brother Shaw, where's that? Where?
Free haircuts right over here by the tree.
I'm number one.
Alifa Honey Cuts. All right. Brother Deron Chavis.
I'm number one.
All right. Peace and blessings, everybody. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Brother Shah for organizing this activity. I give that man a round of applause. A lot of work goes into organizing and, outreach into the community. Today, I just really want to say, there's a lot of energy around food. I see we got some awesome plates going around for everybody, making sure everybody eats healthy and everything. And I think that's one of our golden opportunities for keeping this type of energy going on an ongoing basis. How do we connect as a community? How do we work together? How do we create opportunities for us to stay together, for us to learn how to work with one another? And I think one of those greatest opportunities is around food. So I've been an activist in my community, and I'm a native of Richmond, so I've been here for, all of my life, 37. So when I started working around activism, I did a lot of work around consciousness, being a quote-unquote revolutionary, revolved around these ideas, trying to be metaphysical, focusing on black power, focusing on how we're going to organize the people. A lot of ideas. We talked a lot. We held meetings all the time, and we had these lectures, and we heard these great speakers speak about these different ideas of how divine we are as black people, and our melanin, and how we need to activate our third eye and open up our chakras, and all these different types of ideas. And I think that's amazing, and I think that's totally where we need to be at as far as educating ourselves about who we are as people of African ancestry. But there's another component that we often miss, and that is how are we transforming our communities? In what ways are we stepping up to the plate in order to make a tangible difference in the reality of our streets and the realities of our neighborhoods and the places that we live every single day? So about, maybe about 9 years ago, I met a farmer, African-American, Native American brother, who came to me and said, hey, I love the fact that you're having all these lectures and you got all these powerful speakers coming out and they're telling people about their spiritual divinity as people of African ancestry. You're talking to people about, how important it is for them to be healthy and how important it is for them to eat right and how important it is for them to love themselves as people of African ancestry. But why don't you start talking about where food comes from? And that was a light bulb moment for me at the age of about 27. Why don't we talk about where food comes from, right? All of us know someone that has high blood pressure. We know someone that has maybe had a heart attack, somebody that is living with diabetes, somebody that may have suffered from a stroke, somebody that may have passed away from cancer. We know children that have ADHD. We know children that have autism, children that have developmental delays. Inside of our community, those epidemics, those issues are affecting us as black people at the highest rate, right? So what is interesting is that all of those issues, from diabetes to high blood pressure to heart attacks, those things are killing us more than the black-on-black murders that we see in our communities on a regular basis. They're killing us more than the police that are shooting us down in the streets, right? Because one of the things that's important to understand is that we don't pay attention to the numbers of people in our community that are dying from heart disease, that are dying from diabetes, that are dying from cancer, because it's a slow death, right? It's something that's prolonged over years and years and years. You might get diabetes at the age of 30-something, but you don't pass away until you're 50. But the people of African ancestry, we're dying earlier than other ethnicities because of these diseases, right? So when you do the math and you look at the stats, it's thousands upon thousands of more people that are dying from these issues than are dying from the violence that we say we need to address in our communities. I say that disease is a form of violence, right? A war on your body is happening, and it's happening, you're being attacked through your food. The food that you put in your mouth every day, trying to nourish yourself. We live in neighborhoods that don't have grocery stores, right? It's a hard time for you to get to a grocery store if you live in, say, Gilpin Court, right? Or if you live in Jackson Ward, or if you live in Southside, if you live in Belmead or Ruffin Road, or if you live in Afton. It's hard pressed for you to find a grocery store that has fresh food that you can afford, right? We don't have Whole Foods in our neighborhoods. We don't have Trader Joe's, you know. So these spaces where we can get the organic, healthy food, they're inaccessible to us. So as a result, a lot of times we're stuck with the Hot Pockets and the Stouffer's meals and the, you know, the Doritos and the, you know, the chicken skins and all that different type of stuff, the potato wedges. Like, that's what we can get on a regular basis. But that's the food that's poisoning our bodies. At the same time, those are the foods that are poisoning our minds. So when I met the farmer, he said, hey man, you need to start talking about where food comes from. And I said, hey man, I don't know, you know, that much about the conversation. So I started working with him. We started doing pop-up farmers markets in the community. We would meet on a Saturday morning and we sell vegetables to people in the neighborhood. A lot of folks might remember I used to work in social services, and we promote. Let people know, hey, come out and buy 20 pounds of vegetables for $20. So after working with this farmer for years, I started seeing, man, this man is about 70 years old. Here I am at a 30-year-old age, and this man is coming from Brunswick County every Saturday, loading his truck up with hundreds of pounds of food, and we're selling it to the community. What happens if this man hurts his back? What happens if this man can't get out of bed in the morning? Then we can't bring food to the community. So I'm thinking, like, I need to be soaking up some of this wisdom, soaking up some of this game from this elder, and learning how to grow food. So we start talking. He's like, well, why do people plant lawns and grow rose bushes in front of their lawn and they don't grow peppers and tomatoes, right? And I mean, some of the most commonsensical questions that you can imagine were stuff that was flying right over top of our heads, right? Opportunities that we have control over right now. These realities of us not having access to healthy food in our community, that's something that there is nobody blocking us from changing. And so, after witnessing this elder come and bring vegetables to our community for years, I started saying, hey man, I started feeling guilty. I started feeling like, dang man, why is it that I don't grow food, right? Why don't I know the science of how to garden? Why don't I know the science of how to farm, right? Here I am, a black person in America, ancestor of indigenous people, ancestors of enslaved Africans, and here we are several generations later, and we don't know anything about how to grow a vegetable. That's almost insane. When our labor built this country and created the industry of tobacco, the industries of cotton, the industries of just food production, we taught people of European ancestry how to do these things. And they stole our labor and built what I call dynasties that still exist to this day, right? But how is it that we've been disconnected from those conversations? A lot of us have grandparents that lived in the country, that had acres of land, right? But for many reasons, we moved to the city, trying to find jobs and get away from the racists that existed in those areas. So long story short, I started feeling bad, like, dang man, I need to learn how to garden. So I started a garden. Started my first garden on South Side, at the corner of Forest Hill Avenue and McDonough, 33rd Street. And, you know, we transformed this little triangle of property that was nothing but grass. People would walk their dogs, go out there and you know, they might play a little frisbee or something or what have you. But we said, no, we're going to take this little triangle property and we're going to turn this into a garden. And I worked with about 12, 14 people from our community. We came out, and over the course of the weekend, we created a garden. And it was in that moment that I realized that we have way more control over the realities in our community than we give ourselves credit for, right? So we started growing food there, and that little garden, those 12 plots multiplied into 20 plots, were then multiplied into 30 plots, and now that garden is still producing, and people are still growing food there on Southside. Here it is about 6 years later. From the garden, we started thinking about, well, how do we start to sell the produce that we grow, right? We're growing all these vegetables out here, and people say they don't have access, so why can't we connect those dots, right? How do I take this food that I've grown and sell it to this man who's looking for some fresh tomatoes and some fresh kale so he can make a salad, right? And in those spaces is where we have ultimate control. There are vacant lots inside of our communities where we live that, you know, it's overgrown, plenty of weeds. It might have been a house on it or what have you, and we walk past it every single day. And we look at it and say, oh, that's a mess. Somebody should go clean that up, right? But what about that somebody being you, right? Change starts with the man in the mirror. And when we look in the mirror at ourselves, we have to be accountable for the realities that we see right next door to us. So I challenge you. And this is a challenge to myself as well, but I challenge organizations. I challenge those of us who purport ourselves to be conscious, who purport ourselves to be revolutionary, to purport ourselves to be about the empowerment of our communities, to do the one thing that unites all of us. We all breathe air, right? We all take in deep breaths of air every morning, right? But one thing that we might do that each and every one of us does other than breathe air is we eat food. We eat tomatoes, we eat kale, we eat collard greens, we eat watermelon, we eat cantaloupe, we eat cabbage, we eat green peppers, we eat rainbow peppers, we eat butter beans, right? We eat squash, right? And there is nothing stopping us from taking over vacant lots in our community and creating spaces where we're farming and we're selling produce to the community that has had limited access to that food for generations. Nothing is stopping us, right? The only thing that's in the way is maybe the education and knowledge and access to seeds, right? But Mother Nature is most magnificent because food grows itself, right? All you need is water, sunlight, right? And some great soil. And my organizational work, we're here to teach you to do just that. So if you're interested in learning these arts, the art of farming in the urban environment, definitely stay tuned, connect to my organization. I work with Lewis Gannon Botanical Gardens, but also work with several other organizations. Renew Richmond as one, 5th District Mini Farm as 2. And next weekend on Saturday the 22nd, we're doing an event called Drums in the Garden. At 2208 Bainbridge Avenue, you'll be able to come see our mini farm. We'll be doing workshops, teaching people how to grow food, how to plant in your backyard. We'll also be showing people how to prepare healthy meals straight out of the garden. There'll be vendors there and yoga there, but it'll be a great opportunity for you to see how easy it is for us to transform our community. I'm going to end on this note. While we have awesome work to do in our community, I think the most awesome work that we have to do is learning how to work with one another. Learning how to show up for one another. And not just when it's time to come to the rally or go to the lecture, but on a day-to-day basis. How do we show up for one another? And that's what I've learned over the course of the years as I've been growing these farms and working with my community members and my comrades in this work. Because the garden, the farm requires you to show up, right? Because if you don't, those plants will wither and die. And if you are working with people that are committed to a consistent regular, deliberate, intentional input of their energy to create something that will impact the community, it is life-changing. It moves us from out of these spaces, oh, this is my organization, and my organization is this, and your organization is that, and we can't agree, and we can come together on a common goal of feeding our community. That is a bigger picture that's bigger than the name of our organization, it's bigger than our logo, and it's bigger than the slogans that we may spit out to one another every day. So, in my world of food, in my world of urban agriculture, and my world of food justice, the most relevant work that we can be doing is keeping our people from dying from diet-related illness. And the most important thing that we can be doing right now, that there is nobody in the way of keeping us from doing, is growing food. And I hope, I pray, that we will realize that this is something that we have supreme control over, and we could change our communities in a growing season through growing farms. Thank y'all very much. I appreciate y'all time. I'm going to pass this off to the next man. Y'all enjoy y'all day. Big up to Shaw and his organization for pulling this together. Black Unity Day. It's great to see all these African faces and people supporting one another. But let's keep this energy going. Let's keep this energy rolling. And let's continue to liberate our family. Y'all have a great day. Peace and power.
Come on. Right, let's give it up for Brother Davis. And brothers and sisters, let us give a big hand again for the new Black World Order. Let's get free. Farms, real estate, economics, education. That's what we need in order to free ourselves. Let's get free.
All right, let's get free. That is the tone, and that is the continuous tone. Black power to all the people, man. All power to the people. That's how we getting down. So listen, we got the leaders of the New South here. They've been involved with the Black Unity Day since inception, right? Second year? Okay, yeah, this is their second year here and there. And these brothers are doing a lot of good things in this community, especially for food access and all these things here. So I need you to lend the ear to the strong brother, Dynamite brother. We was partying good last night on a strong, black, powerful way, right? Y'all give it up for my brother Omari from the leaders of the New South, y'all.
Peace, family, peace, peace. So when the brother Shy, when he told me about the movement, the Get Us Free movement, you know, the acronym FREE, and he said that the F stood for farming, I knew that was something that I had to get involved with, because I started getting into food access in the city when we were advocating for transit. And I started noticing and researching and learning about how transportation and mobility will help you get access to jobs and access to better food and access to affordable housing. And I started realizing the big trade-off that happens with transportation, housing, and food as the three top expenses of a household. So I started getting into that and really looking into the food access and the healthy food in our communities, or the lack of the healthy food in our communities in the city of Richmond. And so, you know, they have this term, they call them food deserts. In the city of Richmond, you know, and all across the country, they call them food deserts. And what I want to do, and what our job to do right now, is we're trying to reclaim that narrative of food deserts, because we want to highlight the racial inequities and the racial disparities that are occurring and have been occurring historically in the city of Richmond that create the situation where we have less healthier foods in the community. So it's not really like it's just a desert and it's just there, you know, like the Sahara Desert is just there, you know, it's a naturally occurring thing. You don't change a desert, it's just something that's there. But what we have is a lot of issues that have historically been happening ever since, like the redlining of the city and designating different parts of the city as disfavorable places where people want to live, and it got less funding and everything, and that's why we have so much concentrated poverty in the East End of Richmond from different practices over the years, compounded over time. So, you know, they were trying to get one over on us earlier this year with transit. They were trying to take away bus coverage from Mosby and Fairfield, Creighton, and the Oakwood Avenue areas in Churchill. And my organization, we found that out. We caught it while they were trying to sneak it past us, and we got all other organizations shot with New Black World Order, Our Evolution, and Rise Up, and even some brothers from Philly came down and helped us to engage the community and engage the policymakers, and basically we forced them to change that recommendation. So we will be retaining bus coverage to Mosby, Fairfield, and the Oakwood Avenue neighborhoods this fall when the transit network plan goes into effect. So the community really came together. The residents, they answered their doors. We did videos. There was a big social media campaign that we basically forced the GRTC and the transit planners to reverse their decision. So that was real good that the community came together for that.